If you're watching this video, you probably have some information you're seeking concerning debts, what you can do about your debts, and what they can do to you if you don't do something about your debts. As an attorney that handles just bankruptcy, we see a lot of different people with debt problems that you can imagine how varied they'll be. But I'm going to talk now about the average person and what kind of debt situation they will typically get into. The most common kind of debt that get people really with a problem is credit card debt, and particularly credit card debts where you're making no more than the minimum payments. Now, if you have a, say $50,000 or more in credit card debt, and you're making the minimum payments, then you have a situation that I would describe as the lifetime plan. Well, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you're probably never going to pay them off. The majority of what you're paying on the credit cards are to pay interest and various other kinds of administrative fees. So you could pay those minimum payments of $500 or $1,000 a month or whatever it is, and you will be paying that for another 20 years or even longer. So if you owe $50,000, let's say, in credit card debts, you will probably pay, if you did the minimum payments throughout the period of your payments, you will probably be paying about 3 times what you owe, which is about $150,000. Once people actually sit down and look at that, they pretty much come to the conclusion that they've had all that they want to deal with concerning their lifetime payment of credit cards. Well, you'll never really pay them off anyway. Now, what kind of other situations could you have where you need to get help? You're being sued. You have constables that are trying to serve you suit papers, or you have already received suit papers. You have vehicles that have been repoed, or you have vehicles that they're looking to repo, so they're trying to find your vehicle. You have had a foreclosure on a home, and not only did you lose your home, but you have the mortgage company pursuing you now for what's called a deficiency, which was the debt that was left over after they sold your home. So any of those problems, I would say for the average couple or the average individual, you need some help. Because it's just, you're not going to get anywhere making the minimum payments over a long period of time. It's just a holding action, and whatever you're paying them per month is essentially money down a rat hole. Now, what other kind of situations could people find themselves in where they really need help concerning debt? You have a family member that has a very significant medical condition that's requiring large amounts of treatment. And either there is no health insurance, or the health insurance that you do have is inadequate. So that can lead to a huge amount of debts into the hundreds of thousands fairly quickly. Another significant problem that I've found people run into is if you have your own business. Typically when you have your own business, the creditors, the people that are extending credit to your business, since it is a small business that's essentially just you, they're going to want you to personally guarantee the debts of the business. So what does that mean? The business gets in trouble, you're losing money, and you're going to shut the business down. Well, you don't just shut the business down and then the debts go away with the business. Because since you signed a personal guarantee, which is pretty standard that you would have, particularly banks would get you to sign that, then you still owe the money personally. Some of the cases that I've had with by far the hugest amounts of personal debt were people who had companies that were losing a lot of money, and they kept trying to put their personal credit to use to keep the company afloat, and of course it doesn't work. And then in that case, you can end up with hundreds of thousands easily in personal debt associated with your company that didn't make it. Now, the record of any case that I've handled in terms of unsecured debt, what does that mean? That means it's not a mortgage, it's not a car loan, there's no security associated with it. It's like a credit card, payday loan, medical bills. The largest I have seen of personal unsecured debt was $1,200,000. So you see it can get up there. Several hundred thousand would not be unusual at all. So what other situations do you need to take a hard look at what you're doing? Let's say you're getting close to the point where you're going to retire and you will be on a fixed income, Social Security, maybe a small pension too. If you have, in that case, I would say more than about $25,000 in credit card debts, well, even paying $300 or $400 a month minimum payments on that still could put a significant dent in your fixed income, Social Security or whatever. That's a good time to consult concerning bankruptcy. Now, what does our firm do when you have questions, you have a problem? You can call the office, you can request a free consultation, that is a free consultation, where we will analyze in some depth exactly what your choices are concerning dealing with whatever kind of debt problems you have. And then at the end of that, we will say, you can do this, you can do that, you can do nothing, and basically spell out what the consequences would be, whatever you do. But in most cases, you're not going to want to do nothing, because being sued and having people chasing your assets once they get a judgment against you is not pleasant. Believe me, it's very unpleasant. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. If you have any other questions, give my law firm a call. You can reach us at 281-257-2477. My name is Miller White. I am the attorney with the firm. And we will be happy to in a quiet, relaxed manner, I would hope, go over exactly what your options are and tell you what we think it's going to take to solve your problem. Appreciate your time.